From the headquarters of teleSUR English in Havana, Cuba, this is From the South. I'm Gladys Quesada. Venezuelan authorities received the 9th shipment from China with supplies to face the COVID-19 pandemic. The Venezuelan Vice President, Delcy Rodriguez, highlighted that with this shipment, a total of 274 tons of supplies and medicines have arrived in the country from China since the beginning of the pandemic in March this year. Rodriguez also thanked the support and solidarity of the government of Beijing with the people and the Venezuelan authorities during this health crisis, and also affirmed that the situation allowed to raise the bilateral relations to the highest level.
No hay bloqueo que pueda.
There is no blockade that can overcome neither Conviasa nor the Venezuelan people, nor the China-Venezuela relationship. If we have to make a summary of these 9 months of the airlift with more than 274 tons of medicines, supplies and medical equipment, dear Ambassador, the cruelty of the United States government has not been able to defeat the Chinese-Venezuelan Brotherhood.
Colombia's President Iván Duque said its administration will refuse to provide coronavirus vaccines to hundreds of thousands of Venezuelan refugees within its borders, in a move which stunned public health experts and prompted condemnation from humanitarian groups. Speaking to a local radio station on Monday, Duque said that only Venezuelans with dual nationality or formal migratory status will have access to the vaccine when it's eventually distributed in the country. He also said that the controversial decision was taken to prioritize Colombians and to prevent a rush on the border. Venezuela has its own vaccination plan and has started a program to produce the Russian vaccine Sputnik V in national facilities. Meanwhile, Colombia faces a resurgent coronavirus outbreak, with cases climbing by over 10,000 a day following months of respite. Lockdowns and other restrictions over the Christmas period have been put in place by local mayors. And in Chile, the Congress approved the readjustment of remunerations to the workers of the public sector. The Chamber of the Corporation of Deputies ratified the law with a vote of 64 in favor, 59 against, and 3 abstentions. The proposal was referred to the Finance Committee, where it will be debated in particular, so that the Chamber could receive a report afternoon of Tuesday. The text retains the substance of its original rules, that is, a differentiated adjustment as of December 1st, 2020. The draft maintains the generality of bonuses and complementary allocations. In Ecuador, the government of Lenín Moreno strengthens its neoliberal strategy by getting the International Monetary Fund to authorize the second disbursement of the loan requested in the midst of a severe social crisis and increase in poverty aggravated by the effects of the pandemic. After Congress approved an anti-corruption law, the last requirement demand by the financial entity, the approval was given for the delivery of $2 billion as the first portion of the $4.1 billion requested by the government. In this context, the Ministry of Finance had indicated that the country will have a debt with the IMF of almost $7 billion at the end of the year, making the international entity its maximum creditor. Experts also said that the program that supports the loan contemplates the deepening of cuts in social budgets, loss of jobs, and reduction in the economy and national production. And an Afro-Brazilian councilman denounced the increase of threats by racist groups in the city of Curitiba, in the state of Parana. Let's watch the story.
Conservative state in southern Brazil that is best known as the headquarters of the now disgraced Operation Car Wash has been the site of some of the nation's most important labor conflicts in recent years.
The state of Parana is a laboratory for all of Bolsonaro's evil. Now they are laying off over 9,000 public school workers and substituting them, people outsourced to the private sector. It is a radically neoliberal policy that is destroying public education.
Parana Governor Ratinho Jr., the son of a neo-fascist television personality and close ally of far-right President Jair Bolsonaro, has been using the COVID-19 pandemic as a smokescreen to push through deep austerity cuts, but the teachers' union is fighting back.
Our governor has taken advantage of the pandemic to eliminate labor rights. So we are fighting to reverse this, but above all, we are fighting to increase appreciation for knowledge, science, ethics, and the truth, and to recuperate the importance of school in Brazilian society.
2021 promises to be a year of more strikes and more protests in Parana. Brian Mir, teleSUR, Curitiba.
And we'll be right back after this very short break, so don't go away.
Innovation, science, the technological breakthrough, and its influence in society.
Viajeros del saber, el futuro está aquí.
Atomy. Monday, only on teleSUR.
Welcome back to From the South. The European Union's chief Brexit negotiator, Michael Barnier, met EU ambassadors in Brussels on Tuesday to update them on Brexit talks with the UK. Earlier, Barnier told reporters that negotiations with the UK had reached a crucial stage. The two sides intensified the struggle on Tuesday to get a deal agreed before the UK is due to leave the EU's single market mechanism in the 9 days' time. The last major outstanding difference is the EU fishing rights in UK waters. And Ireland on Tuesday announced fresh coronavirus restrictions until January 12th to curb the spread of new infections.
Remain open. However, the retail sector will be requested to defer January sales events. Gyms, leisure centres and swimming pools may remain open for individual training only. Hotels may only open for essential non-social and non-tourist purposes, except for guests who already have a booking and are due to check in up to and including St. Stephen's Day. With regard to social and family gatherings, the current provisions, that is, visits from up to 2 other households, will remain in place up to and including the 26th of December. Visits to private homes, gardens will be allowed from 1 other household up to and including the 31st of December. In both cases, for those who are part of a support bubble, the bubble counts as 1 household. From the 1st of January onwards, no visitors are permitted in private homes, gardens, except for essential family reasons, such as providing care to children, elderly or vulnerable people, or as part of a support bubble. Travel outside your county will continue to be permitted up to and including the 26th of December inclusive. People away from their place of residence after that period will be permitted to return to their place of residence.
And explosions from Mount Etna, Europe's largest active volcano, sent rocks flying into the air and lava streams oozing down the slopes. According to the Italian news agency ANSA, a series of explosions have occurred in 3 different craters in the volcano over the past 2 days. The explosions did not create any risk to the area and did provide a spectacular show. Etna is the largest of Italy's 3 active volcanoes, which also include Stromboli on the Sicilian island of the same name and Mount Vesuvius near Naples. Vesuvius last erupted in 1944. Etna is a popular tourist destination attracting hikers eager to see the extraordinary lava flows glowing orange in the night. On early Tuesday, a truck carrying propane tanks overturned and exploded in flames on a Long Island Expressway exit ramp in Queens, New York City. The incident occurred just after midnight. The driver of the flatbed truck may have slid on black ice. The New York Fire Department said the truck rolled after it hit a jersey barrier separating the westbound lanes of the expressway from the Queens Boulevard off-ramp. The truck was carrying nearly 320-pound propane cylinders, which went up in a fireball. Firefighters spent hours putting out the flames and cleaning up the propane tanks. Fortunately, no one was injured in this accident. And we have more stories coming up after this final short break, so stay with us.
teleSUR English presents a weekly program to discuss the political, economic and social issues affecting the Caribbean community. We'll challenge stereotypes and unpack the diversity of the region through the analysis of unique cultures, religions and art. We Caribbean. Wednesdays, only on teleSUR.
Welcome back to From the South. UNICEF warned Tuesday that approximately 250,000 children have been displaced by the escalating crisis in Mozambique's northern province of Cabo Delgado and now are at risk of deadly diseases as the rainy season sets in. The United Nations Children's Agency is especially concerned that safe water, sanitation and hygiene services are insufficient to meet the growing needs of children and families in overcrowded temporary accommodation centers and in host communities. Climate-related disasters and conflict over the past 2 years have contributed to food insecurity and hunger across Cabo Delgado. 2 out of every 5 children in the province are chronically malnourished, with growing cases of severe acute malnutrition amongst the displaced population. UNICEF is expanding its water and sanitation response and supported mobile health teams. Kuwait is suspending all commercial international flights and closing its land and sea borders until the end of the year, after a new and highly contagious strain of the coronavirus was found in the United Kingdom. Authorities described the move as a precautionary measure. The Kuwaiti government said cargo flights and trade routes will remain open. Health authorities ordered people who arrive from the European Union or the United Kingdom over the past week to immediately take a PCR test for coronavirus. As of December 22nd, Kuwait registers more than 148,000 confirmed cases and over 920 fatalities.
There was an announcement about the emergence of a new strain of the coronavirus in the United Kingdom, so we, in the state of Kuwait, are monitoring and we do not take it lightly. But the health authorities took precautionary measures by suspending commercial flights after getting the approval of the Council of Ministers. These measures are temporary in order to find out how to prevent this new strain, the danger of this new virus and how far it spreads, and the extent to which it can reach the state of Kuwait. This is a precautionary measure by the health authorities, and the Civil Aviation Authority implemented it by suspending commercial flights to and from Kuwait International Airport for the period of 10 days. And after this decision, we will discuss the possibility of resuming flights or the continuation of suspending commercial flights.
And Russian and Chinese bombers flew a joint patrol mission over the Western Pacific on Tuesday in a show of increasingly close military ties between Moscow and Beijing. The Russian military said that a pair of its Tu-95 strategic bombers and 4 Chinese H-6K bombers flew over the Sea of Japan and the East China Sea. The Russian Defense Ministry said the joint mission was intended to develop and deepen the comprehensive Russia-China partnership, further increase the level of cooperation between the two militaries, expand their ability for joint action, and strengthen strategic stability. The ministry also said that the patrol flight was not directed against any third countries. Tuesday missions was the second such flight since the patrol over the same area in July 2019. The patrol follows President Vladimir Putin's statements in October that the idea of a future Russia-China military alliance cannot be ruled out, a signal of deepening military cooperation between Moscow and Beijing. And the head of the Tokyo 2020 Olympic Games, Yoshihiro Mori, said Tuesday that officials have decided on an overall budget for the event.
We have 7 months until the opening of the Games. The postponement of the Games was unprecedented, and that we have been working closely with all people who are involved in the Games. We need to hold the Olympics as a symbol of overcoming the coronavirus and to have the Olympic flame lit at the stadium. That's the mission we need to fulfill. On December 14th, Minister Hashimoto, Governor Koike, and I made an agreement on the official cost of the postponed Tokyo Olympics. We are planning on releasing the details of the budget, including V5, today.
And Syrians welcome the Christmas season in the midst of a difficult situation marked by the pandemic, the blockade, and the terrorist war. These conditions did limit the festive events, but they restrict the faith of the Syrian people that the coming year 2021 will be a year of peace and recovery. Let's see the story.
The celebrations were limited this year to masses and prayers due to the strict precautionary measures to prevent the spread of COVID-19. The believers prayed for the end of this pandemic, which clouds the festive atmosphere, and asked God to take care of the soldiers of the Syrian Arab Army in the battlefield against terrorist groups, and asked the international community to exert pressure to lift the Western sanctions that impact their lives.
We usually decorate the city squares and places with big Christmas trees in the churches, streets and houses. But this year we limit the celebrations to prayers and masses, because in these difficult moments prayers are more important than decorations. Unfortunately, poor people are the ones who suffer the most, the effects of the blockade and the pandemic, and we wish to see the sanctions lifted this year so that people can live in peace, and we wish that the coming year 2021 will be a year of goodness for everybody and not only for Syria.
As in previous years, Christmas decorations are available in the markets. However, this year the demand for these products was significantly reduced. The rise in prices and the high inflation resulting from the devaluation of the national currency against the dollar caused by the Western economic blockade significantly limited the purchasing power of citizens, a situation that Syrians tackle with faith, believing that together they will manage to overcome this challenge.
Hopefully the situation will improve, and we wish that this new year will be a year of goodness and tranquility for everyone. We wish goodness and peace for Syria and love to fill people's hearts so that we can regain security and harmony and overcome this pandemic. For several years we have not celebrated Christmas as usual because of the war and the blockade that clouds the festive atmosphere, and this year even more because of the coronavirus pandemic.
Unlike previous years, few families have decorated their houses to welcome the occasion, while the streets of the main cities were embellished with trees and lights to spread an atmosphere of joy and to show that Syria, despite the current pandemic and the long years of imposed terrorist war and blockade, does not give up, and that its people do not lose faith in a better future.
And we have come to the end of this news brief. But remember, you can find this and many other stories on our website at telesurenglish.net. And also, you can follow us on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram and Telegram. For Telesur English, I'm Gladys Quesada. Thank you for watching.